I think they're going to come out and say Fort Knox is loaded with gold, and we're going to increase the price of gold to $5,000 an ounce. Jack it up another 70%. They did it before. They'll do it again. And this way we get rid of our debt. And here's a big one. Oh, by the way, the other thing that's not in any of the Western media is speaking about the Israeli genocide. They have thrown out 40,000 people out of their homes in the West Bank. Oh, by the way, this West Bank settlement is a bullshit word. It's in violation of the Geneva Convention and Article 242 of the United Nations. You have no right being there.
Hello and welcome to Soar Financially, a channel where we discuss the macro to understand the micro. My name is Kai Hoffman, I'm the JR Mining guy on X, and of course your host of this channel and conversation, and I'm looking forward to bringing back Gerald Celente. He's the publisher and founder over at the Trends Journal, and somebody I haven't had on in like over a year, and I don't even know why that has happened. I was researching like our last conversation and realized that, and I'm almost embarrassed to say it's been over a year since we spoke. Gerald made some really good predictions at the end of 2023. The interview aired December 28th. He predicted that gold would run up to 3,000, maybe 5,000, depending on momentum, and we got awfully close. Gold just turned around 2960 or so was the top, so we got really, really close to making that prediction happen. Of course, I'm going to talk with him about the overall economic trends that he's seeing and the US dollar. Where is it headed? There are a lot of discussions about the Mar-a-Lago Accord. I'm curious what my guest thinks about that and how it will impact overall the economy, US dollar, gold, and everything else that surrounds us right now. Before I switch over to my guest, you know the spiel. Hit that like and subscribe button. 80% of you watching are not subscribed, so please change that. It's a free way to support our channel, and we tremendously appreciate it. Now, Gerald, it's great to have you back. Good to see you again. Thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, we have to catch up. Like, as I said, like I'm almost embarrassed that it's been over a year that we last spoke. So we got lots to catch on. You forecasted some political turmoil, and we've definitely seen some interesting outcomes. And it was an interesting year, 2024, in terms of political outcomes. But I'm trying to get an overall assessment from you first before we dive into some of the nitty-gritty topics. But what are some of the biggest trends of 2024 that you saw play out, and how have they shaped 2025 so far?
Well, one of them was we said it would be a golden year for gold. And of course, gold went up, some 27% last year. It's up about 11, 12% now. And, we said that the Israel and Ukraine war would keep ramping up and it would do damage on a lot of different levels, and it has. And the good thing about Trump being in, and we're political atheists. We look at things the way they are, not the way we want them to be. And we call the good, the bad, and the ugly. We're not narrow-minded people that call themselves, I'm a conservative, I'm a Republican. Grow up. How about just having an open mind? So there's negatives and positives. What's going on? If Trump was president when the Ukraine war began on February 24th, 2022, he wouldn't have sent over $300 billion of our dough to Ukraine, and the war wouldn't have gone on like that. But on the other side, he would have kept the Israel genocide war going and done more to keep that going, as he's doing it now. So one of our top trends for 2025, and I've been at this now for 45 years. These are some of my books. Trends 2000, it was an international bestseller. Trend tracking, far better than Megatrends, Time Magazine, on and on. Publishing the Trends Journal since 1991. Never before has one of our top trends for the new year been wild card. Anything could happen. It's a wild card out there. And there's the Trump card playing the wild card. It's the Joker's wild. Again, you never seen anything like this. This guy's in a little over a month. Look at all he's done. Again, like it, hate it, whatever. Look at all that's going on. Never before in modern American history has somebody taken office and done so many different things, all these executive orders he signed, on and on and on. The wild card is dealt. And so it's a guessing game in a number of different directions. And I say that because of the truth. When I'm elected, I'm going to end that Ukraine war in 24 hours. Hey, well, 24 hours is it's over a month. How come you didn't end it? When I get elected, the first day I'm in there, I'm going to put 25% tariffs on Mexico and China. Hey, Katson, you're in there over a month. You haven't put. Oh yeah, he comes into office. I'm going to wait till February 1st to put him on. He comes on in January 20th into office. February 1st came, he put him on. February 3rd, he took him off. I'm going to put him back on March 4th. See, it's the wild card. So you don't know how it's going to play out. And then that Israel war, Israel's bombs away over Syria. They violated the ceasefire agreement in Lebanon. You're not allowed to talk about that. Oh, what did they have 5 outposts they've taken in southern Lebanon, bombed the hell out of entire villages. Oh, and now they've reneged on their peace agreement. Well, we didn't like the humiliation that Hamas showed when they returned those hostages. Hey, what does that have to do with the peace agreement that you made? Oh, and how about the humiliation that you showed against the Palestinian people by putting on those T-shirts with the Jewish flag and the humiliation? And and they're not hostages in the prisoners, the tens of thousands, or about 12,000 in the Israeli jails that they're living in hell. Oh, they're prisoners. How come they're not hostages? So now they violated that. They're going to keep this war going. And now they're talking about ramping it up against Iran. If that happens, again, the wild card, the whole game changes. And you'll see oil prices skyrocket. So you don't know what's going to happen in those kind of fields.
Wild card or black swan? Like I'm still because I'm in Europe, I have a time zone disadvantage. So whenever I wake up in the morning, the world could be completely different. And you've said something that nobody had on there, even in their deck of cards, right? So it's not even a wild card anymore because it wasn't even in the deck, right?
Joker's wild, yeah.
Yeah, no, it feels like it. Like my head is spinning. Like I'm doing these interviews. I've been doing them daily lately, and I'm still trying to catch up. Like I'm really trying to stay ahead of the game, but it's almost impossible, right? I need some more advisors, quite honestly, when it comes to that. But what is one of the trends, Gerald, that you're watching very, very closely right now? Like that is maybe you're spending most of the time on. I'll give my answer away. It's the Mar-a-Lago report. That's something I'm watching very closely right now. What is it for you?
Well, again, we in trend forecasting, we say opportunity misses those who view the world through the eyes of their profession. So we look at everything we can: geopolitics, socioeconomic, high-tech science, technocracy. So you have to look at the whole big picture. And here's a big one. Oh, by the way, the other thing that's not in any of the Western media, speaking about the Israeli genocide, they have thrown out 40,000 people out of their homes in the West Bank. Oh, and by the way, this West Bank settlement is a bullshit word. It's in violation of the Geneva Convention and Article 242 of the United Nations. You have no right being there. So, again, that is something that is, we're saying, you got to watch what's going on over there, because if they escalate this war, the whole game changes, and they're escalating it. Now, going back to one of our trends, a dot-com bust 2.0. Let's go back a month ago. All of a sudden, yay, I never heard of a DeepSeek before. Well, you're hearing it now. Oh, what's DeepSeek? Oh, they're this AI Chinese company. That no, you don't need those big NVIDIA chips. So what did NVIDIA stock go down on Thursday? 8%? Yeah, after they came out with their better than expected earnings. No, they weren't that good. Here's the deal. Trends are born, they grow, they mature, reach old age, and die. The AI trend has just been born. It was born in 2022. We're only in 2025 now. It's a 3-year-old baby. Do you invest everything you're going to invest in the first company that's the top of it? That's like investing in the first automobile in 1886. This is going to be the company and nobody else is going to be there. We're investing everything in this model. We're going to keep investing in that kind of model, and that's what they've done. In this whole AI, where trillions of dollars are being invested, they're going for the first model that's been invented. And now the Chinese came out with a different model. Nope, doesn't cost $100 million. We could do it at a fraction of the cost, maybe $6 million. Don't need those big chips. Oh, we don't need these big power plants that you're building to make those big chips. Out of the news. Out of the news. Let's go back to China. Again, as I said to you, in trend forecasting, all things are connected. Let's go back to 2000, 25 years ago. Slimeball Bill Clinton brings China into the World Trade Organization. Back then, look up the data. 10% of 18-year-olds in China went to college. Now, after 25 years of being into the World Trade Organization and their economy going in directions they would have never dreamt of before, because if you look at their GDP from 1970 to 2000, it's like that, and then it shoots straight up. Now, nearly 70% of 18-year-olds in China are going to college. What does this have to do with AI? Everything. Young people are AI, high-tech addicted. Now you got 1.4 billion of Chinese people compared to what, 330 million Americans? 335, whatever the number is, like something like that. 335 million against 1.4 billion. Everybody's, the young generation, they're tech addicted. They're going to, China, we are forecasting, is going to be the world leader in AI and high tech. And that's going to bring down these companies that have overinvested in AI. And that's going to cause a dot-com bust. And this is your Trends Journal when it used to be a quarterly. Now it's a weekly. And if you want to know what in the world is going on, it's the grand total of $2.56 a week, US dollars. Nothing. .com this. This is fall of 1999. .com overload will short circuit many high expectations for huge profits in internet commerce, entertainment, and a wide array of .com services. Following the holiday season, many of today's high-flying internet stocks, the hottest IPOs and newly emerging IPO wannabes, will have begun their deep descent from their overvalued heights. And we said by mid-2000, the fallout from the falling .coms will have worked its way through Wall Street. Right there. It fell in March of 2000, exactly when we said it would. The NASDAQ went down 80%. Again, trends are born, they grow, mature, reach old age, and die. The internet revolution was just born in the 1990s. There was overinvestment and over-speculation. It didn't mean it was going to end. And that brought the dot-com bust. The same thing with AI. It's just been born. AI is the future. Love it, hate it, want it, wish it, whatever. It's the future. But it's just been born. You don't invest in the companies of the new baby. You invest in the ones that are expanding. So we're going to look for a dot-com bust, which again will crash the equity markets. When the equity markets crash, gold prices will skyrocket. And as we said, when gold hit what, like $2,970 an ounce, we said there's going to be a correction. Nothing goes straight up or straight down. We could see it go down $200, and now it's down over $100. So you need corrections in this, but the long term, we're bullish on it. And what's going to make it more bullish, again, they're going to lower interest rates as the economy goes down. Again, in the magazine, each week we publish what's going on. Housing starts are way down. Consumer sales are way down. Not way down. They're going down. Consumer sentiment it's at consumer sentiment in the United States is at its worst level since the depth of the COVID war in 2021 when everything was locked down. That's how low the consumer confidence is. So they're going to do everything they can to lower interest rates. The lower interest rates go, the lower the dollar falls. The lower the dollar falls, the higher gold prices go.
No, very, very logical. And I want to, get a tad more granular on a couple of topics you touched on. Like AI is such an important topic that is, headline grabbing everywhere. The U.S. is plowing a lot of money into AI, infrastructure investments and everything else. Like, how important is AI for the U.S.? Meaning productivity growth, like everything else. Like, it seems like the new president or the new government is hanging their head on AI a lot. Like, Elon Musk is in there. Of course, tech guru, how important is AI for the U.S.?
Again, they're overinvesting in it. It's important, but they're overinvesting in the companies. Just you mentioned about the infrastructures they're building. You don't need these big chips to do it. DeepSeek has proved it. And this is just the beginning. As a matter of fact, again, we write about it in detail in the Trends Journal. President Xi of China met with the high-tech guys last week, the first time in 6 years. They're putting their money behind it. It's the future. Love it, hate it, it's going to be the future. And it's going to do away with a lot of jobs, just like the Industrial Revolution changed everything. This is another revolution or devolution, as I see it. You don't have to think for yourself anymore. AI will do it for you. Listen, I'm a guy that grew up, with jazz and stuff like that. It breaks my heart to hear the bullshit music they're playing now. So it's everything. This is the future. And they're overinvesting in it. And again, it was just invented. You don't put all your dough in the first invention. And that's why we're saying China is going to lead this thing and it's going to be a dot-com bust.
Talking about AI and the impacts, like where do you see the impact the most? Like where do you predict will have the biggest impact in general there, Gerald?
Well, it's the human spirit. I mean, it's already happened before AI. I mean, I go into a bar, I like going out. Everybody's on their phone. They don't talk to you. I got this to do. You see couples eating dinner together. They're on their phone. People walking down the street. They're on their phone. Again, the mental derangement of people. They're young people are totally addicted. It's a whole different world. They say in the King James Bible, the meek shall inherit the earth. They misspelt it. The geeks have inherited the earth. Look at these little freaky nothings. A little Zuckerberg. A little peach eye. One little freak in front of your face. Gates. One little jerk of nothing. Look at them. Look at these guys. Little ballless little nothings. It's the world today. Ballless little nothings.
Oh, absolutely. And I think there's a lot of change in the U.S. happening right now with the new presidency as well. How do you see that impacting everything? DOGE is the buzzword here, Department of Government Efficiency. How is that changing trends? How do you factor that in? Unemployment, is my guess, is going to be on the rise. How do you see that impacting the economy and maybe even global economics?
There's positives and negatives. I was the assistant to the Secretary of the New York State Senate at 26 years old. I was on the other side. That's why I know what I know. I started to grow up when I was around 32 and I quit the whole system. I was killing environmental legislation at the height of the environmental movement back in the 70s. I was a government affairs specialist for the chemical industry. I have a photograph of me when I picked up Ronald Reagan at 30 years old and put a brunch on in the Chicago at the McCormick Place in Chicago. I picked him up to Chicago Hilton. I've been with that little clown boy Major over there when I used to do talks for all over the world and Prince of Norway. I've been on the other side. The people in government are the lowest pieces of crap you could find. These are scum. You can't get a job in the real world, and they suck into the political system. So what they're doing in getting rid of all of this worthless stuff is great. But there's two sides to the story that they're not talking about. There's this Italian guy that I'm not so fond of. Oh, by the way, when I'm talking about Israeli genocide, you don't call me an anti-Semite. Go F yourself. As I three of my last 4 girlfriends were Jewish, and every one of my Jewish friends are against what's going on over there. And it was so I'm not anti-Italian when I talk about this guy by the name of Mussolini. He called a merger of state and corporate powers fascism. Welcome to America. You're not a billionaire. Shut your damn mouth. You can't see the president. Hey, I'm the richest man in the world. I'm Musk. I'll tell you what to do. Oh, you got this Doge going on over there? How much money did you make off the government? $38 billion worth of deals? All right? The bigs get all the breaks. Yeah, they're doing away with all this other stuff while the bigs, hey, you want to build something? Yeah, we give you a tax break. We give you a grant. We give you a loan. You're a big. We'll do anything for you. So the bigs are getting bigger. Yeah, I agree with everything they're doing, but how about the other side of the deal? Again, $38 billion worth of government deals Musk got. He's not doing away with them, is he?
No. But like maybe a bit cynical question or follow-up here. Hasn't that always been the case, though? Now it's just more visible, more public than it was maybe before?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. People call it a government. I call it a crime syndicate. No. Hey, I'm Jamie Dimon. All right. I've been convicted of 5 felonies. My JP Morgan Chase. We don't go to jail. We do anything we want. We caused the panic of 2008 when we saw those derivatives and subprime mortgages. What did the Federal Reserve do? They only bailed us out $29 trillion to the banks. They're murderers and thieves. What's your favorite war? It's a crime syndicate. Look at the little low-life pieces of shit. Look at their faces. How could you look up to a little clown like Macron, a little Cazzone with a pecker like that? Maybe, if he got one. Little Starmer boy over there, a little jerk off over there in the UK, and put an F, a C, and a U in that UK. A little clown he just got over there in Germany elected. A little, what was he with the BlackRock before? One of those money firms? BlackRock. Oh, yeah, BlackRock. Yeah, we're buying up everything. When I was a young guy, there were none of these private equity group venture capitalists. None of this shit existed. Hedge funds. One little scumbag after another telling you what to do. So bend over and be a good boy. Oh, don't raise your voice, Celente. You're still in kindergarten. Do what you're told. Stand 6 feet apart. The wind blows exactly at 6 feet. Won't get COVID. Won't get COVID. All right? Look at the little clowns running the show. And now you got the clown of the clowns. You got Trump at the lead. I had lunch with his brother, Robert, in 2017. Robert had a restaurant over here in Passaic, which I'm in Kingston, New York, across the river. And he went on to tell me that when the father died, he left the family over at $500 million worth of real estate. All right? Trump is nothing more than a little spoiled daddy's boy. Oh, like that little clown we got up here in Canada, little Justin Trudeau, another little dickless little shithead. Oh, my daddy was Pierre. Or was it Fidel? I'm not sure. I forget. I get it mixed up. All right. One little, there used to be this comedian, George Carlin. He said, it's one big club and you ain't in it. That's all it is.
No, it's true words. True words have never been spoken there, Gerald. Absolutely. Unemployment. I want to get back to that real quick because you touched on lower interest rates and everything. It's like the wheels are coming off. I think we can agree. How do you see that develop? The unemployment rate. Where do you see pressure coming from? Of course, government workers are not going to get all absorbed by the private sector. It's not possible. What are we going to do? And maybe I haven't even talked about that on this program yet. But UBI, Universal Basic Income. Do you see that coming at one point? Because if we extend the AI trend, do you see that's in the future at some point?
It depends what government's in there. You have this kind of government, it won't happen. Let's go back to the unemployment. Yeah, it's going to cause unemployment to some extent, but there's a bigger issue at hand. Again, I told you I used to be in D.C., and I was there at a great time in the 70s. Whew. hanging out at Georgetown. I had time of my life back then. This thing called the sexual revolution. And anyway, then I did a gig for Rage Against the War Machine back in, I think it was 2023. It was the first time I'd been back to DC in 20 years. I couldn't believe how run down it was. There were homeless all over the place, for rents everywhere. That was before they did this. So now you got all these people that are going to be losing their jobs. Guess what? They're going to be losing their homes too. You're going to start seeing a lot of foreclosures. Now I'm going to give you a trend that nobody else is talking about, and it has to do with this. An office building bust and the banks go bust. When they locked down everything for 3 years, basically, to fight the COVID war and made people work at home, the work at home trend did not go away. Some 20%, according to Moody's, of the office buildings in America, 20% are vacant. Ain't nobody there. Your office occupancy rate, according to Castle Systems with a K, is around 51%. All right? Now, 5 years later, now these leases are all coming up. They weren't coming up back then. Now they're coming due. There were between $2 to $4 trillion worth of commercial real estate loans coming due this year and next year. You're going to start seeing foreclosures. They're not going to be able to pay their debt. The banks don't have the dough to cover it. So let's go back to 2023. 3 banks went bust in America: Signature, First Republic, and Silicon Valley Bank went bust. Gold prices skyrocketed and the markets were crashing. 3 banks. This is just the beginning. There's going to be foreclosures on building. Here, you can look it up. Last year, a building in Midtown Manhattan, 50th Street. Sports Illustrated used to be there. In 2006, the building sold for over $300 million. It went up for auction. It was sold for $8.5 million. You can look it up. Not making this up. They're non-convertible, these buildings they built in the last 50 years. It's the middle of the street. You got no windows on one side, no windows on the other side, no windows in the back. It's just an empty steel structure. And they're all over the place. So those are the other things to look at. And now what they're doing with firing all these federal workers is going to make a very bad situation worse, particularly in the DC area. And where all these federal buildings are throughout the country.
Absolutely. I'm not sure if you've seen the graphic pop up, the Zillow graphic of Washington, D.C. All of a sudden, like, all the houses popped up for sale in the D.C. area.
I didn't see it. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, it's been all over X. Like, I've seen it a few times. I should have downloaded it. I should have looked it up because I've been referencing it a couple of times now this week, and I should have shown it to you. Let's talk gold and U.S. dollar real quick as well. 2 big topics. Which one do you want to go first on? Maybe we'll start with the U.S. dollar and save gold for last. But how do you see the U.S. dollar behaving? Like, I've been listening to some comments from Scott Bessent, and it feels like the U.S. tries to stay the strongest reserve currency, or wants to stay the reserve currency in the world, but they also want to stay a strong currency overall. But they're fighting other currencies right now, not to devalue their own currencies against the US dollar. So it's really difficult right now what they're trying to achieve here. It's a really delicate balancing act, and I think they have to choose one or the other, meaning you want a strong US dollar or do you want to be the world reserve currency? Where do you see things headed for the US dollar here?
They want both. Trump is on both sides, a strong dollar, weak dollar, but the United States is still the major reserve currency. And it's not going to happen until BRICS makes something happen. And there's a wild card, and here's your wild card, and it goes back to gold and the dollar. The real United States debt is around $220 trillion when you put in Social Security, all the money that they owe. It's not 36, 37 trillion. Now they're talking about, we're going to go into Fort Knox. We're talking about gold and the dollar. I'll tell you a story. When I was a kid, about 16, 17 years old. My father, may he rest in peace, out of nowhere, he said to me, I was dating your mother. They got married in 1934. He said, it was 1933. I went over to see her, and your grandfather was packing up all his gold. He had a load of gold coins. I said, Pop, what are you doing? And my grandfather said to my father, President Roosevelt wants our gold back, and I'm an American citizen. I'm proud to be an American, and I'm giving my gold back to America. My father said to him, what are you, out of your mind? Don't do that. He said, your grandfather started cursing at me in Italian. He wouldn't stop. My grandfather turned the gold in. They paid them $20, I think it was like 84 cents an ounce, 1933, when they turned it all in. You had to turn your gold in or else you went to jail. 1935, they passed the Gold Reserve Act. They drove the price of gold up 70% to $35 an ounce. So after they stole it from the people, they jacked up the price. Now I'm going back to what Trump's going to do. They're talking about going into Fort Knox. They've been there. They know what the deal is. I think they're going to come out and say Fort Knox is loaded with gold, and we're going to increase the price of gold to $5,000 an ounce. Jack it up another 70%. They did it before. They'll do it again. And this way we get rid of our debt. We got the gold to pay for it. They'll make up anything they want. Again, quantitative easing. I thought the markets would crash in 2012. They didn't teach me about zero interest rate policy or a made-up thing called quantitative easing in Economics 101 or graduate school. They'll make up any crap they want. So that's the kind of thing that I'm looking at. I think they're going to come in with the gold thing, say we're loaded with gold, and they're going to raise the price of gold.
Is 5,000 enough? Like, why 5,000? Just curious what the origin of that number is.
I'm just making that up. I don't know. I'm saying, they're going to come up with something.
Okay.
I went for the 5,000 because they raised it 70% the last time. So I threw another 70% on this time.
Yeah, I've been hearing everything from now 5,000 to 142,000. So,
yeah.
But that's what gold on the balance sheet as well. I'm not sure that's not market price. That's just balance sheet price. But you got to find an auditor or so to actually approve that.
You can make up anything. We're going to find an auditor.
I know.
What are you talking about?
I'm sure you'll find some sympathetic judge who will just sign off on it, right? No, it's interesting. So it's really interesting times, Gerald. It's hugely interesting to chat with you. Lots of different perspectives, interesting perspectives. We covered gold, we covered the US dollar, we covered some of the economic trends. Is there anything for 2025 that we haven't discussed yet that you think we should be looking at?
It's so important for people to be so fully tuned. Again, as I said, you got to know what's going on geopolitically, socioeconomic, technocracy. You got to look at the whole picture. And that's what trend forecasting is. One of our sayings is opportunity misses those who view the world through the eyes of their profession. And with the Trends Journal, we're doing everything we can to do that. The magazine's it's about 200 pages a week. Yeah, it's a magazine. You don't read everything you want, but you got to read the different things that make, from high-tech science to AI, to the cryptos, where what's going on in the whole field. And again, I've been at this for 45 years. Never have I seen anything like this before. This game could change the snap of a finger. And it's a freak show out there, and the freaks are running the show. And so the magazine, by the way, is, again, only $2.46 a week. We're giving everybody the best we can. And most importantly, everybody get in the best shape you can, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, because you're in a fight for your life.
What were the three G's you've mentioned before? Guns, gold, and getaway plan. That's what it was. Has your getaway plan changed at all? I'm assuming you got 1 and 2 covered, so getaway plan. We
Yeah,
have to talk about.
I'm pretty, but you never know. I mean, if there's a nuclear annihilation, bend over and kiss your ass goodbye. Oh no, I have a bomb shelter. Who the hell would want to live after a nuclear bomb? How
Yeah.
whacked out can you be? If there's a nuclear war, man, I hope the thing lands on top of me, so I'm check out right away.
It's like your comedian Ron White says, like, we're going to wreck this plane, and the passenger says, like, make sure to hit something hard because I don't want to limp away from this,
Yeah.
So, yeah, absolutely. Gerald, wonderful conversation. Trendsjournal.com, you sort of hinted at it. To find more, subscribe as well. You run a fantastic YouTube channel as well. How often do you do your video updates, Gerald?
I do when the magazine comes out on Tuesday. And I do one with Judge Andrew Napolitano on Wednesday and the Trends in the News on Thursday.
No, fantastic.
So we do them 3 days a week.
Phenomenal. Gerald, really enjoyed the conversation. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much for joining us here on Soar Financial. I can't wait to have you back. We shouldn't wait another year. So
Right.
that's embarrassing. So,
Okay.
Gerald, thank you so much. And to everybody else, thank you so much for tuning in here to Soar Financially. Tremendously appreciate you watching. I hope you learned a lot and you found Gerald's comments interesting. If you did, hit that like and subscribe button. It helps us out tremendously, and it's a free way to support our channel. I know about 80% of you watching are not subscribed. I'd love for you to change that. Thank you so much. And we'll be back with lots more here on Soar Financially. So stay tuned and hit that bell icon. Thank you. Take care.